What's going on, everybody? Andrew here for the Hot Sauce Underground Barbecue Sauce Masters competition. I've got another sauce today from Willie Morris. This is his Sticky Q. Came in this nice mason jar. It's a wonderful reddish brown, almost caramel kind of color. It almost has the consistency of caramel as well. So it looks like it has, from the ingredients list, which I'll now read, it has some molasses in there. So it contains apple cider vinegar, water, ketchup, molasses, crushed red pepper flakes, salt and pepper, butter, Worcestershire sauce, garlic, salt, cornstarch, brown sugar, peach and red ghost scorpions, and last but not least, love. Enjoy. So off the bat, I can see that it's rather thick, which I can only base would be, it has that thickened with cornstarch look to it, but it did coat the meat really well in cooking, so you can see that. Whoa. All right, we got it. It did coat the meat very well. It cooked nicely, it browned well. That molasses and brown sugar browned up really nicely. However, I do feel that for by itself, it's a little too thick for my taste, and because of the cornstarch, it is a little bit thicker than I would like to see it. Hey everybody, I forgot to, I think I forgot to add, I spoke so much about texture, but I don't remember that I actually showed it. So I'm going to pour some out for you, just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And it kind of, as you can see, it kind of gloops a little bit. And then it almost looks like jelly because it's kind of stuck together, so it moves around it slides around the bowl and a kind of a blob there, and that's kind of true to form to too much vegetable starch. So I forgot to put that in the video originally when I filmed it. I'll go ahead and spice that back in, and there you go. Even though it did coat the meat very well, I'm going to have to give it a 7 out of 10 for consistency, because and just looking at it when I opened it, it's like there's definitely a thickener in there, and generally it's not that thickeners are bad, it's just when a sauce is heated and then cooled off after jarring, it can get a little bit thicker than one would think. So that's kind of where we're at with that. It did coat the meat very nicely though, which is nice. For aroma, I'll go ahead and smell it there. I'm moving it around in the container there to get some of the air in there to increase the smells. Initial two smells specifically I smell up front: apple cider vinegar and molasses. Both have a very strong smell. Apple cider vinegar as being the primary aroma there. There's a light sweetness, and I can pick up on some of that ketchup from the tomato. I can pick up some of the tomato from the ketchup. Sadly, I'm not really able to pick up a lot of the other. I can't pick up any heat and smell at all. Usually you can smell chilies, especially peach and red ghost scorpions. I'll go ahead, I'm going to give it a taste and see if that adds to the aroma a little bit. Definitely, okay, it does have some of that heat. But it's mostly sweet vinegar, tomato / ketchup. You can taste some of the molasses there as well. But primarily aroma, I'm gonna because it's pretty one-sided of vinegar, molasses, There's a lot of ingredients in there, but I can't really smell any of them. So I'm going to go with 7.5 on aroma. For flavor, initially I'm getting like it's almost sucking the moisture out of my mouth. So I don't know specifically what ingredient would cause that. It does have that cornstarchy mouth feel to it, of a sauce that's been thickened. It kind of reminds me of Jell-O, not like Jell-O, but Jell-O brand instant pudding kind of mouthfeel to it. So that's my initial. It does look good on the wing though, so I'll give it. See, and it does taste. I mean, let's get a little bit on there for dipping. Okay, on the wing itself, it loosens up a little bit, but still cold or roots at room temperature technically. I don't like cooling the sauces because I lose a lot of the smells and the flavors there, so I leave them at room temperature. On the meat, it's delicious. It tastes really good by itself. I can't get past the mouthfeel. So for taste, I'm gonna go with 7 again. Heat, it does have a pretty good burn. It's not high heat by any means, from what I'm used to. I mean, I have a very high tolerance, as most of y'all know. But I think for this style of sauce, I mean, the red pepper flake, you get that little punch in the beginning, and then you get the peach and red ghost scorpion that kind of come through the throat in the end of the sauce. But I like that balance. I like to have the differentiation between the two types of heat levels. I like to get the initial, and then I like having the growing heat in the background. I like having that linger after I eat it. So I'm gonna give the heat an 8. I think the heat is appropriate for the sauce. So I'm gonna go there. Overall, I'm gonna go 7.5 for the overall product. Reason being is it's primarily the cornstarch. I would have liked to have seen. I mean, if you used a different natural thickener, I know cornstarch is natural, but it tends to be all or nothing. So with cornstarch and xanthan gum, either you use a very minimal amount or you use too much. And I think that's what happened here. A little bit too much of that cornstarch, and it just over thickened it. And honestly, with all these other ingredients, I don't believe that it would have separated or lost thickness over time, because you have a lot of sugars in here, with regards to the brown sugar, the molasses, the ketchup, and generally when those things heat and meld with all of the other liquids in here, they tend to, I mean, if you cook it for a long enough time, they're not going to separate like you would see in a vinegar-based hot sauce. Unless you did put, I mean, obviously apple cider vinegar is at the top of the list, So, I mean, if you did put a lot of vinegar in there, I mean, I can understand why you would need to thicken it up slightly, but I feel like the cornstarch may have just not be needed, so I would say try it without the cornstarch and see what happens. Because otherwise the flavors are, I mean, I like where you're going. I like the sauce in general to a certain degree. It's just the mouthfeel, for my personal taste, wasn't what I would want. Because, I mean, I know what cornstarch does, and I know what I'm getting when I eat something that contains a larger than amount. I mean, I've made enough sauces to know what happens when you add too much thickener, and that seems like exactly what happened. And that'll happen with cornstarch, xanthan gum. If you use potato starches as well, you can use those. I would more stick along the lines of using a fruit-based thickener, papaya being one of my favorite thickeners, because it has an enzyme in it that will thicken a sauce. So, that being said, I know I get a little long-winded at times. I apologize. 14, 15, 29, 30, 7. 7.5, 7.5, that's 15, plus 14 is 29, plus 8 is 37. Yeah, so overall, total score is 37 out of 50. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you all enjoyed some football today. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your weekend. Expect a couple videos coming out in the next week or so, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks again, guys. Have a great night.